back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go,
Now we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
hell yeah.
We're back from the dead.
Are you ready? Let's go. Back from the dead.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
Yay! I'm so glad to be here. I feel human today, and I'm doing very well. Yay! Yes. Uh-oh. Hold, please. We are gonna hold right now. Being live, folks. Okay, guys, we're gonna go to a be right back screen. hold up. Oh, well, you can still hear me. Never mind. Yep, we're working on it, guys. I was telling Crystal before we came on, I'm feeling like rusty. It just feels like it's been a year. Yeah, come on, so. Okay, hello. Listen to the sound of my voice. We will be right back. Crystal's working on the audio. You know what I'm saying? Hello, mic check 1, 2. Yeah. You thinking we might need a restart or anything? It just sounds like I'm having a conversation with myself, guys. Sorry. You know, this is me daily, actually. You know, kind of terrifying. You know what I'm saying? Gosh, we should just have our own stand-up show.
Can you guys hear me through the webcam?
Can you guys hear Crystal?
If I switch the audio source. Hello? Hello, anybody?
Pull up.
If you guys can
Mic
hear me,
check.
let me know. I switched audio sources for now. Can you hear me, anybody? Ask them if they can hear me.
Hear me? Can you hear Crystal, guys? Let her know in the comments. She switched the audio source, so let us see if she can be heard.
If I snap, I see you now.
Okay. I don't see anything yet.
Yes.
Yes. Yes! Yay!
It's fine.
Did the thing!
I switched audio sources, so I don't even need my fancy mic. What's the point in having like a $200 microphone? You know what I mean? Like, why do we even need it? You know what I mean?
It's true.
All right, so I switched my audio source, so it may not be the best audio source, but it is my cam. So you know what? Let's just go with the flow. So anyway, welcome back to GGD. We've been gone for a minute, so I have awesome news. Crystal does not have to have surgery.
Yay! No surgery.
Crystal does not have to have surgery. Yep. So I had many appointments this week where I was checking in with a few different doctors, and I thought they were going to take me in for surgery today. I didn't want to tell anybody that because I was afraid you guys would freak out on social media. And the cat knew. I was like, you know what? If they have to do it, girl, just take the leg. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
please do not do that.
Please
Do
don't
not
take the leg. But like no, like I might need it for investigating a little bit. You know what I mean?
The leg?
The whole
Carry
leg.
the leg with you?
Oh my
Carry
God.
the leg
It's really
with
not
you.
funny because there's people out there that like are missing
really
a leg.
messed up.
I'm sorry, I have horrible
really
dark
dark
humor. It's
humor.
nothing personal, promise. It's all about me, you know what I mean? Like,
Gosh.
so anyway, I don't have to have surgery, which is great news. I'm so thrilled about it. I'm gonna be honest, when you're going through like a health crisis, you can't focus on anything other than yourself, you know what I mean?
It's true. Well, you
Like,
have to.
You have to. So Kat has been wanting to stream and stuff, and I've been like, I just need to get through Friday and decide what's in my future, and then we can move on. So yeah, it's starting to heal. I'm not out of the woods yet. It's going to be, a month process of healing and going to the doctor often and whatnot. So, but anyway, it's going to be okay. We're, one step at a time, and something funny happened today. I didn't even tell Kat this.
What?
So I went, if you go to the doctor right now because of the coronavirus, they're really picky with who they let in the door, right? Like,
Right.
Before you even when you're on the phone and make an appointment, if you're sick in any way, not even with corona, like, they will not let you come in. Like, they won't.
Yeah.
And so, they check you at the door and stuff, and they literally scan your forehead for like a temperature. They just won't let you in the door. So I go in there and I'm like, oh God, I'm just so excited, and get this ultrasound. I sit down, and I sat on the ultrasound chair.
What?
And out of nowhere, I was like, I coughed, and the whole staff was like, do you have coronavirus? I was like,
Are you serious?
I was like, no, I
Oh
don't
my
know. I think
God.
I think allergies. I don't know. I was like panicked
Oh
because I was
my
like, don't
God.
let me go home, with my leg. And so I got so panicked, I started like moving around on the table because I was scared they were going to send me home. and one of my nails popped off and flew on the floor.
Oh my god. That is hilarious.
So as if it's not bad enough that like I'm sitting there like freaking out because I had a cough and like there's like 5 people in there because they were ready for surgery for me, you know what I mean?
Right.
All of a sudden something that's like black and gold just goes flying across the room. And all the girls were like, what was that? I don't know what that was.
I'm just saying, at least it wasn't your leg.
Oh, I know.
Okay?
You know what?
You're
It's true. I'd rather keep the leg at this point. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I am in such a good mood. Cammie says, I work at a hospital and I have to be screened every day. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I had to go to the ER 3 times, right? Like for my leg, not even for coronavirus, thank God. But, you know, like let that be known that I was in an ER 3 times and didn't get it. Like that's got to be one of the most susceptible places right now because there's 6 people there. So it's just a matter of washing your hands. I went to the store today for the first time. Oh my god. Ghost Mom said you nailed it. You get it? You nailed it. I nailed.
Oh my gosh.
I went to the grocery store for the first time today and everything was back on the shelves except for toilet paper. And meat, which is fine because like my household doesn't eat meat anyways. But I'm like, look, what's a mofo to do? Like I still have like a couple packs of like my super large, like I get those giant packs from Costco toilet paper. So I probably have like a good 20 rolls left. What's a bitch gonna do when she runs out?
Mm-hmm.
Like
you can call me.
It could happen. You know what I mean? Like it is a very plausible reason. Like it could happen. So anyway, you're gonna laugh at this. I joined, I have a private Facebook page, but I never use it. Ask Kat, like there's nothing on it. But I decided to join a Las Vegas toilet paper group. Literally. And this group is like a group of people that are shopping and looking for toilet paper, and they like will update like, oh, went to Costco on wherever today. Oh, went to Sam's Club here, and they had it like literally because I'm like, look, I'm going to run out eventually. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my god.
So, anyways, that's all. That's all. So today,
I haven't resorted to crochet yet.
Oh my god, Kat. The good news is when I went to Sam's Club on the 30th, and I did like a trip. And they did have a giant stack of napkins. You can't flush those down the toilet, obviously, because it will clog that shit. I do not want a septic issue. But if there's an emergency hoe, I'm covered, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I needed a backup for my backup, literally.
It's true.
You know? So anyways, so today, Kat and I wanted to talk about, we've never really talked about your experience at the Haunted Museum / our experience at the Haunted Museum.
Yes.
I've talked about my experience there and like, you know, even times that I've been alone with Zach in the building, like before it opened. And I feel like, well, it's interesting because experiences with Zach are very different when you're like alone in the building versus I've been there to do fan events versus when I'm with like my friends, like Kat, literally. It's very strange how you like always have a different experience depending on the energy that you're around. So, and I was excited to take Kat to the museum because she has a lot of high energy. Even when Chanel was involved, Kat was very much like the uppity sort of personality. She's like we always like make fun of her saying she's like the white witch. She's like the positive, happy-go-lucky white witch, you know. And so I was interested to take her into such a dark place, to be honest. Like,
I was just walking in. I'm like, hey guys, what's up?
Oh my god, it's so
ready
weird because Kat always has like so much energy, right? And I mean, she always does, more than me. And I function very high, but her Aries fire man just keeps her going. So, okay, so we went to the museum. This was when Brittany was involved. Throwback to that nightmare. And then Chanel was involved too.
The tea is real.
The tea is out there, you know what I mean?
It is out there.
So we went in, let's see. First of all, didn't Zach see me on surveillance or something?
He's such a creep. Yeah.
Oh my god, Kat.
He did. He did, and he couldn't be normal about it.
Yeah,
You know, he's fine.
Yeah, he sees me on surveillance and he texts me. It's always what he does. I don't understand why he does that, but whatever. And we went in. He didn't want to come out and meet you guys. He was like insecure about it, which is fine. So, he let me in free, not you guys, which is fine. Whatever. Nice. You can come in free, but your friends, they got to pay, ho. Like, okay.
I guess. Jeez.
Oh, our scarves, aren't those cute?
We got them at Target.
No, Hobby Lobby.
Did we? Was it
Yeah, Hobby Lobby.
Oh.
We
I
went
thought we
into
got it
Hobby
when we got
Lobby
the hoodies.
for yarn. Of course, we were in for yarn. Like,
Oh,
literally.
that's right. Yes,
Uh-huh.
it was.
And it was
Yep.
like 50% off. We got these cute scarves at Hobby
Yeah.
Lobby. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, okay, so keep going. What did you think of driving up to the museum when you saw it, like, from the outside?
Super eerie, and I think what made it eerie was the fact that we had taken a trip the day before. We had a bunch of things going on during the day, so we couldn't get out to the museum until later, and by the time we went out, it was closed, but we did like a little drive around, so Crystal showed us what it looked like and like where it was. And
Yeah, nighttime
we had a
vibes
whole...
are different, aren't they?
They are, very, and we could have sworn that we saw something there.
Yeah.
It was like, I think we saw like a shapeshifter
I
or
always
something
see
that was outside.
Every time I go there, I always see it. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
it go from like a man to a cat, from a cat to
Yes,
a man.
that's
like,
what it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he had a full, like, you could clearly see
Yeah.
that it was a man.
It's almost like a
with a
guardian
fedora.
or something that's like,
Yeah.
fedora. Definitely fedora and a coat,
Mhm.
like a trench coat type of thing. Yeah.
And he big, like big
Mhm.
stocky guy is what I saw at least.
Yep. So
And then it went to a cat.
He's got creepy spirit security, so everybody just let it be.
It's good out. It's fine.
So
But
when
yeah,
we
but-
actually went, when we actually went though the next day, you thought it was really cool.
It was very cool. I was getting annoyed though with the water they were spritzing.
Oh, that's
We
right.
were getting wet.
Yeah. Our
I
hair
was
was
like,
like
come on.
totally flat by the time we got inside. It was summer though, wasn't it? Like August, which is horrible here in Vegas when it's August.
It was, but like by the time we went, it was kind of breezy and it wasn't bad, and we were just getting wet. Like we had these forms we had to sign, and they were soaked. It was like,
Literally.
what is going on?
The mist is on a little high, Zach. Can you turn it down?
We're just gonna
just
turn
a
it down a
notch.
little bit. You'll save the water bill. You know what I'm saying? It's just a tear. It's fine.
But the outside's beautiful. He has these huge gargoyle statues that are everywhere.
They're beautiful.
And then at night he illuminates them with like red lights. And then the building itself, like it's clearly historic. It's old. It's beautiful. I'm actually really happy that he was able to get something like that and save it, because it's gorgeous. And it doesn't have a lot of windows.
Yeah.
I think he's talked about this publicly, or maybe he hasn't. I don't know. There's only a few windows, because apparently back in the day, for a family, that was like the richest home in Las Vegas at its time, or its peak, whatever you want to say. And it was the largest mansion at the time. And if you had that kind of money, you had to be really careful with having windows, because you'd be afraid of robbers. Because at the time, that kind of money just was very rare to come by. Clearly, it was like a family, had a lot of money. The whole family had money. So it is weird going in there, because there is two stories, obviously, but the upper story, the regular, like one story, the first story you walk into, there's just hardly any windows. So it makes it automatically seem very dense and dull and dark. Don't you think that's a good way to describe it?
Yeah, it's so beautiful though. It's like
It is.
dark but beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of like, there's no natural light. So it's already kind of got that weird sort of umbrella of energy, I guess, around it, if that makes sense. So you kind of walk around when you first get there. They get the tour guide with you, and then you, thank you, Monica. She said she's glad I'm better. Me too, girl.
Aw,
I need
yeah,
my
that
leg
was rough.
hole, okay, let me tell you something. That's important, okay? But yeah, I'm doing really good, thank God, thank God. No surgery, yay.
Yeah.
They have this huge plaque that talks about like the history of it, right, Kat? Like, and then you kind of get to the front of the actual mansion. What do you think about that, the way it looks?
Beautiful. Beautiful. The whole area is just really beautiful. He did a great job. He's a brilliant mind for sure.
He is very creative, extremely.
Yeah.
I remember when I went in there alone with him when he first was doing all of the construction, and he wasn't even finished, and he was so excited to show me everything. And he was like, so what do you think? Like, he was wanting me to, I was like, I don't know what goes on in your head, but like, wow, like to be able to recreate some of this stuff is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's so out of the box, but so brilliant.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
So let's talk. So you knock on the door like 3 times, or whatever. You say knock on the door. I think I told you guys to do it 3 times to make it extra creepy, right?
Hey.
You went up and did it, didn't you?
Yep.
You ran up there. Kat was like, I'm going to do it.
I'll do it. Nice.
So talk about what happened when you did that.
So that was a really interesting experience because the door opens and there's somebody in costume that answers the door and gives this whole spiel. And it got kind of awkward because the staff knows Crystal. And
thanks, Kat.
the guy.
I appreciate that. It got awkward because the staff knows Crystal.
Well, it did because like there's a whole line of people, you know, and we're not trying to cause anything. We're just in line going to the museum. And the guy was like looking straight at Crystal.
Yeah.
And was like, no investigating.
Oh,
and kept staring at you like the entire
Well, I don't
time.
think that he meant that personally. I don't think that was a personal thing.
He was a little snarky.
No, Kat, that's your Aries. Kat, that's your Aries coming out. No, they say that because they do know who I am. Usually after the tour, they know. Like I assume they know where the cameras are and they know where I'm at. And after the tour, the last stop you go is in the gift store, and I always have a lot of the staff come ask me for pictures, and I always do it. Like, of course I'll do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think they do that to like give me a hard time just because they know who I am. Because on the tour, you can ask Kat as I'm walking through it, you start hearing ghost girls here, ghost girls here,
right?
Ghost girls here. Like, you just hear it all over, and you're like, yeah, what's up, everybody? Just
you're like,
say something. Just say hello. So you walk in the door, there's a guy like that's creepy with like the whole top hat thing, and they take you in the first room, which is the oddities room, which is like creepy little shrunken heads and all of Zach's weird little things that he loves to collect. I don't personally, I don't like that room because it has like animal skulls and stuff in it. I'm just not a fan of like deceased animals. That's just me.
Yeah.
What did you think about the room?
I thought it was interesting. They also did have Ghost Adventures playing. They had like a TV up and they had Ghost Adventures episodes playing and such. But it was very unique and very creepy. There's like a bunch of doll heads in the corner, in like one of those rooms, and I was like, just gonna back it up here. Fine. You know, I feel like I'm being stared at. You know, but the aesthetic is very creepy.
There's these huge glass cases full of. I mean, they're full. I have been in there so many times. I don't even know what's in all of them. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know what's in because there's so much to see that like you just don't. It's hard to zoom in. He really could use like maybe 3 or 4 more museums, if you ask my opinion, because he has so much stuff, and it's a little bit squished in. And I wish the tours didn't get pushed through so fast because there's so much awesome stuff to see. And I feel like there's just not. It would be a cooler place if you could like, or if he had like a certain time or like of the day or week that you could go in and sort of just wander. Because there's so much stuff to see. That's what you need. You need that time to just sort of look like a regular museum, you know. But I understand why he doesn't do that either because I can't imagine how much all the stuff that he has costs.
Oh my god.
So now he has a Zoltar of himself. Did you
explain that, Crystal? It's her favorite part, actually.
Oh, man. Nikita said, how are you feeling? I am feeling really good. I'm feeling much better. Thank you so much. I went in today to the doctor, thought that I was going to have surgery today. I didn't want to announce that. They were going to determine today if I was going to just go ahead and have the surgery, and I'm doing much better, 100%. So thank God. Sorry, my brain just totally dropped what we were talking about. Zoltar. We're talking about
Zoltar.
I don't know if you guys know what Zoltars are, but usually you put in like $1 or $1. They have them at Santa Monica. There's another like Mexican restaurant downtown in the art district of Vegas that they have a Zoltar, and then it like gives you a little fortune out. And so Zach had a Zoltar made of himself, which is just really interesting that he had a Zoltar made of himself. It's very creepy. It covers the only window in that area, and basically you put in a quarter, or I think it was $1 last time or something, but the
I
tour
think
guide,
Chanel did it.
the tour guide gave us the money though this time, and because who carries cash and change? Nobody, like,
Nobody
especially
anymore.
after Corona, ain't nobody gonna carry cash anymore. You know what I mean?
It's true.
And then it like has Zach talking about what you're about to experience with the tour, and then it pops out a little fortune, and it's sort of like a paranormal clue to like what you're about to encounter. It is cute. I mean, it's a cute theme. Can't imagine how much that Zoltar made to like make of yourself. And then the other thing that I don't like about that though, which I don't know, it's once again I feel like he needs a larger museum. The doll room is off to the side. And last time I was there, they only let a handful of people go in there. They only let a few people go in. Obviously, the dolls aren't in cases, so he's probably concerned people are going to try to touch the dolls. The room is very small, but I wish those were a little bit clearer to be able to see. And when I'm on the tour with people that I know, I've been in there so many times that I'm not like pushy to get, to see stuff because I've already been in there. You didn't get to go in, did you? The doll room? No.
Only one person was allowed to go in.
Was it? Yeah. See, he needs a bigger museum.
It was Brittany, I think, actually.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that's why she left afterwards. You know what I mean?
Maybe. You never know.
Keep moving forward.
We won't go there.
Moving on. Yeah, we have so much tea, you just don't have the time. You know what I mean?
It's fine.
Cats. Okay, the next room is the gambling room.
That was cool.
So now, what's the energy to you between the oddities room versus the gambling room?
You definitely start to feel a different type of energy, not necessarily dark, but you can start to feel a little bit of like a heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
Best way I can describe it to me, the way it felt to me was like it got a little bit humid.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like an overwhelming type of humidity, but it just was like almost like you were walking into a different energy field totally.
Right. See, and for me, the gambling room is high energy. It feels happier and lighter than the oddities room, but I feel like the oddities room is a good introduction to like the energy you're going to feel, because the rest of the room is definitely, or the rest of the museum is definitely not like that. So the gambling room's cool. It's not one of my favorites, but he has some really cool, like particularly Vegas memorabilia in there, so I understand why he has it. And like he has a, what was it, the poker table, it has like 666 on it. He has a bunch of weird stuff. Those oddities room and gambling room are okay. They're really good introduction rooms for starting the tour.
I feel like the oddities room was more for like an aesthetic, because I didn't really feel much in the oddities room. But when we went into the gambling room,
you didn't. But that's the room he let me sit in the Annabelle chair.
Oh, in that room?
That was in that room, yeah. And I paced the chair for a minute. He's like, why don't you have a seat? And I was like, I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't.
I just don't want to have a seat.
He's like, well, why not? Why don't you just sit down? I was like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just... And finally I sat, and he's like, do you know what sat there? I was like, what? He's like, Annabelle. I was like,
We won't even go there.
Okay.
We won't even go there.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story.
Speaking of
Annabelle,
that
that for you too.
No, just kidding. Okay, then the next room is one of my favorites. I don't know how you feel, but it's the funeral parlor / church.
That was gorgeous.
There's really
very
good energy in there, in my opinion.
It felt really good.
And I think that's one of the only, there's 2 rooms particularly that have really good energy, and that's one of them, in my opinion. He has this beautiful piece of stained glass. I don't remember the story on it. But he'd had it, I think it came over from Europe, or maybe not, but
beautiful.
He had to knock a wall out in order, because obviously once again there's no windows, but this stained glass is huge. I mean, it's like an entire wall, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And he said that when he created the museum, it was like puzzle pieces fitting in. So he would purchase something not knowing where it would go, and he would decide where to put it, and it just happened to fit there. And that was one of those items. So it was sort of like meant to be. But yeah,
that's awesome.
The funeral, and he has 2 skeletons, real skeletons, that are up front. Those were weren't they from the Missouri house that I think Brittany actually went to? The
Yep.
What was that? What was it?
What?
Which house?
Sorry.
Was that? Where the
Oh, I don't remember. I don't
skeletons
remember
were, like,
exactly,
up in the
but they were from there.
ceiling? Oddfellows. Oddfellows home.
Yes.
So he has real skeletons in there, but it doesn't feel creepy in there, to be honest.
No, it's so beautiful.
How do you feel about the theatrical performance that happens in that room?
You know, it's just, it happened, you know? I guess that's just the best thing I can say about that. Yeah. I don't know why. I still don't know why. But, it's fine.
You still don't know why theatrical
I don't know why.
He has some random performances, and it's just, I think, for the gag of it being, like, a tour, and, like, they're trying to entertain you. Like, I feel like that part particularly is very Vegas, don't you?
It is.
It's very Vegas, like, for show type of thing. So, I mean, it does make sense why it's happening. So then from there, what is the next room? Is the next room Kevorkian?
No, I think that was that later?
No, the next room's the puppet room. The puppet room.
Is that the clown room? Yeah.
Yeah, the puppet room.
Yeah.
They used to not let you go in. They now pulled some of the, like, theatrical stuff a little further back. It's a very small room. But I think some of those puppets are worth a lot of money, so that's why he doesn't want anybody up and close and personal. I don't feel a lot of energy in there, do you?
I was creeped out.
You were? Really?
And I don't have a thing about clowns. I was just, the corner that I was at really creeped me out, and I had a really weird vibe, and then the guy pointed that it was like a clown chandelier or something like that right behind me, and they said that was like a very haunted object.
Oh, that's right. I remember you were standing like under it practically, weren't you?
I was like, great, yeah, because it's very small, and there was a lot of people in our group, and I was kind of like just kicking it in the back because I wanted to take my time to go through each room and look around and stuff, and yeah, she pointed, and I was like, oh, that makes sense now. It's fine. Yeah, it's great.
It's fine. Oh, that's right. Then the next room is the Ed Gein room, I think.
Yeah, you go through like the clown hallway, and then it's the Ed Gein room.
Yeah. So Ed Gein, and then you go to Kevorkian, because they take you from like horrible energy to Kevorkian's room. Ed Gein's room. So in my opinion, the Ed Gein room is probably the coolest room in the whole museum.
It's awesome.
And it's probably one of the most terrifying.
It is.
That spirit likes to mess with women big time. Like, no shame. Like, he is alive and well in that room.
And he likes it.
And he loves it. He loves that room. Like, you can tell his energy is like he's at home there. Like, 100%. So Ed Gein is the guy that was the cannibal, basically. And he was, well, they don't know if he was eating women's bodies, but I assume that's what was happening, because he was skinning them alive.
He'd wear their skin.
Yeah, he was sewing women's bodies, and then they wouldn't find the remains of, that's why I assume he was cannibalizing as well. But he would, like, grave dig and grave rob and upbury these women's bodies, and he had mommy issues, and he was basically recreating mommy suits for I assume, to, like, be dressed like his mother, which is just very strange.
Yeah, he loved his mother, and when she passed, he kind of like didn't really know what to do, so he found women that had similar
body types,
traits to her, and when he missed her, he would wear their skin.
Ew. What in the F is wrong
with
people?
It's a really creepy, messed up thing.
Jesus Lord. Like, literally, on your worst day, just remember, at least I'm not Ed Gein, okay? Like, literally.
And you still have a leg. You know
and leg. And peg leg is we're good to go. So the Ed Gein room is, there's wood on the floor, so when you walk in, it's like very much barn-like. So when this cauldron was being used, it's a giant cauldron, he would use it to put underneath the bodies when he was skinning women, and it would catch the blood, which is just repulsive to me. He would do it in the barn. And so the cauldron was left behind at the crime scene. Obviously, like, he'd been arrested, and someone else purchased the property and found the cauldron. And then Zach purchased the cauldron. And it's a big-ass cauldron, isn't it?
Yeah, and when we went there, I believe that Jay had done some sort of like spell over it or ritual over it. No, so it was like amped up.
And Lady Snake, remember, it was Lady Snake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Lady Snake is like supposedly a bad witch from England. I don't know what her vibe is, but she supposedly like helped resummon energy to help Ed Gein manifest more or something. And they ended up having to put this giant clear glass box over the cauldron because there was like blood in it from Jay and Lady Snake. There's still blood in it from Lady Snake and Jay, so whatever.
It's gross.
It's gross.
That was, I was
hepatitis,
very,
man. That is hepatitis sulfate.
That is
like,
how
just,
you get diseases.
It is.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But I was
Oh
really excited.
You sounded so like a mom when you said that.
Just saying.
That is how
no,
you get diseases.
Eddie,
Don't
no.
do it.
Bad. I know, I'm such a grandma. So bad. But I was really excited to go in that room with Crystal because we wanted to try an experiment there. So from what we had heard, that if you go to like it was either the back left or the back right corner of the room, and you're a female, that you'll feel like a giant thump.
Like he jumps
behind
down
you, as if
from
it's like
the rafters.
Yeah,
behind you. Yeah.
Right. So we were over there. We were trying to feel anything. I didn't feel anything, but of course, by the time I got home, he followed me home, and
he always
was a whole other
follows me
story.
home. Yeah, he always follows me home.
That was not fun.
It's something to definitely brag about.
That was a
right?
messed up dream and a half. That was a messed up dream and a half.
Well, let's talk about that in a sec, though. Let's talk about your dream. I just
do it.
want to note that I got to see the cauldron without the glass when he was like still building the museum, and it was really cool. I actually got to touch it. That was one of the rooms he was most like proud about, Zach. And we stepped backwards, and he was like, "You've got to see this room." And he had knocked the ceiling out, and like he had the rafters, and then up in the rafters was like the body hanging.
It was so. It was so
It's realistic.
amazing, and I mean, it was really messed up what happened, but the fact that it felt like you were stepping back in time from like that scenario was incredible.
Like your senses. Like think about like sight, vision, smell, hearing.
It smelled
taste.
like a barn.
It smells like a barn. Like the wood he has used. Like he imported this like specific wood. I can't remember what he told me. So like when you walk in that room, it literally smells like you're in the woods. Like literally. Except I remember like I saw the body dangling, and I had told him, like, I wish you could put like a light or something up there to make it look like you could visually see it a little bit better. And then he ended up putting lightning noises with like a strobe light up there, so you can see. It looks really creepy. So it looks like it's like raining in the barn with a body hanging from the ceiling. It's so cool. But yes, there is a corner. If you walk in the door to the room. So if I'm facing the door right here, and you walk in the door, if you guys ever go, the corner that's catty corner to your left. That back corner, if you stand in that corner, you will, and you're a female, if you stand there and he likes you, which he pretty much liked all females, you'll feel him jump down from the rafters, and he'll hit the wood, and it will literally make the wood bounce. It's happened to me over and over again. It actually happened to Brittany while we were there. She was the one standing like in the right spot, which I know it sounds creepy to say this, but it's usually like whichever female he chooses, that's who he'll like feel him jump down. It's really creepy. So do you want to talk about your dream, or does it just freak you out too bad? So I had warned you guys before we went that Ed Gein's followed me home before. I assume he knows me because I've been in the museum so many times and on privately been in there, obviously without like fans. And I told you guys, I just want you to be prepared. Like, if you think something follows us home, let us know, and we'll sage and like do whatever we have to do in the house. And we thought everything was fine. Until nightfall happened.
Oh my gosh!
And this was your first like major paranormal experience, right?
Yeah, and it was really strange because I didn't come back home to New Hampshire until like a week or so after this happened. So the fact that like there was a gap of time between
I thought you were going to talk about the scratching on the wall.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Did you forget about that? How could you forget?
You mean in the closet?
Yeah.
In the closet, and I was up all night, and I was like, what's happening right now? I don't know what's happening.
That
was crazy. Yeah, I had some really crazy residual activity, and it sounded like that someone was moving like boxes in the closet. And I got up to like go out and see if there was anybody out in the house or something, or what was happening. Nothing was there.
It was like scratching, right?
Yeah, and it just constantly felt like there was just energy around me. I was up all night. That was crazy.
And then you went home and had this dream.
Yeah, and then I went home back to New Hampshire, and I had a dream about Ed Gein, and I never saw his face. My boyfriend actually saw him before I did, and he told me that before I got home, it was the day before I got home, he saw an apparition with a leather mask on, and it walked from the doorway to the side of my bed, and I wasn't home yet. So I was like, that's really creepy. You know, we're not going there. I'm not. Great, thank you. Welcome home, cat.
And I was like,
fine.
haha, he didn't follow me home. Literally.
So I get home, and that night I had a dream, and I dream in color. Like, I dream in a very specific, like, color tone. And for me, usually it's like dark blue, but this was like a very creepy aesthetic dark blue, like dark dream. And I was in my old house that I grew up in, and I kept hearing like screaming, and there was like lightning, and it was a big, really bad rainstorm, and the front door was open, but I couldn't see who was in the house. So I ran, and I kept hearing crying, and I walked into what used to be my old bedroom, and there was a man sitting there, and I didn't know him, but in the dream I did, and he was lying on the floor, and from his, I'm sorry, this is really gross, but from his ankle down up to like below his knee, the skin was completely rolled up. So I never saw him, per se. I never saw Ed Gein, but I knew it was him, obviously, because, I mean, that's just disgusting. Right. And I tried to carry my friend out of the house. And when I got him out of the house in my dream, I woke up.
So your friend was the one that had, like, been chopped up, basically, by Ed Gein?
Yeah. And I found it very strange it was a man. So I'm wondering if maybe there might have been some men that were involved in that. And maybe it wasn't just women. But I woke up and I felt immediately like I was being put back to sleep, and I was like, oh no. And I called Crystal. I'm pretty sure I called you that night. Mm-hmm. And I saged. I ended up saging that night.
It was like 3 a.m, and you were like, I'm so tired. I was like, get up and sage right now.
It freaked me out so bad. It freaked me out so bad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was
Ed Gein. But he's
the heck?
He's very strong. You know, that's a really good example why I hate people throwing around the word demon so easily. Mm-hmm. Because Ed Gein's just as dark as something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and he follows you home, and he can cause nightmares like that. Demons can do that. That's why I get so annoyed with the word demon being thrown around so easily, because there's human spirits that can be just as dark and just as bad or evil.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I think it's so hard for, like, us as paranormal investigators to be able to determine, what is this an actual demonic thing happening, or is it freaking Ed Gein? Because he's dark ass too. And it was Ed Gein.
I just got the chills.
He's just something
creepy.
else. It's interesting though, because when he does follow me home now, like in the beginning when it would happen, often I'd be like pissed and like he wouldn't leave. And now like he knows I won't like tolerate it. And so he doesn't hang around much. It's like he just wants me to know like that he's here, and then he's gonna like dip out. And I'm like, get the F out of here. Next room is Kevorkian's room.
That was cool.
So, Kevorkian helped with assisted suicide, and, some people feel weird about it, some people don't. Particularly, he helped people with Alzheimer's and things like that. I believe in assisted suicide, I'm just going to say that, because I've had family that I've seen suffer that wished they could have helped themselves not suffer. And so I guess there's some people that go into Kevorkian looking at him like a murderer, and then there's other people that go in to look at him like someone who is just really trying to help people. What do you think his energy is like in the afterlife?
I felt really calm, honestly.
Peaceful. Very peaceful.
The only real activity I felt, or energy I felt, was a little dizziness in the head. Not bad enough where I felt like I was gonna be fall over, but it just felt like a very light, fuzzy feeling in my head.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, he was helping these people.
I agree.
And he was definitely what you've said in the past, which is before his time.
Yep, he was way before his time. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
he didn't have to coax anybody in.
Approved assisted suicide, not all, but I think he was way, way, way before his time. And you could debate all of the cases, but I don't have time to do that. You know what I mean? Obviously, in this day and age, states that do have assisted suicide have specific expectations that you have to meet in order to get there. And but yeah, his energy, in my opinion, I think that room says enough. I think if you go in his room, that will give you the answer. And in my opinion, he was helping those people. He has, in my opinion, beautiful, very, very peaceful energy. Zach has a tape playing on record over and over again, or repeat, sorry, that is him playing, I think, the flute. Does that sound right? Something like that?
Yep.
And sometimes I think he had said that he would play it for some of the people that he would help. And that would be kind of the last thing they heard before they went to sleep. And it's very peaceful in there. It's a beautiful room.
It was a breath of fresh air.
I went in there. He'd finished knocking the wall out, and he put the van in, and then he had just put the brick back up, but he hadn't. They were still painting the room, I think, when I went in there. So you could see the wall where the bricks had been like knocked out, and they just rebuilt it. And I was shocked when I walked in there just how great it felt. I know that sounds weird, but that energy isn't what a lot of people would think it is. So anyway, it's a cool room to go to after you experience Ed Gein. Literally.
You really know.
And then the next one is he had the Winchester room that was little, but he took that out. That's no longer there.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's moving it, but he's doing construction. He's put another huge additive onto the museum. I don't know if I need to put my video up of Vegas being empty. I drove by the museum that night because it's kind of off of Las Vegas Boulevard, and he bought another building that's behind the museum, and he's turning that into like an extension. And he has major construction going on. He's adding a whole nother section on to the museum, so he is expanding it. So that's interesting. And then the basement. You see the basement. You didn't get to go down, right?
Mm-mm.
How did you feel looking into the basement?
I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Really?
Creep me out. That doll in the rocking chair down there.
Mm-hmm.
There was something wrong. I didn't feel comfortable looking at her. I don't know. I'm just saying. I was like, okay, I'm going to side-eye you, and that's about it. That's all I got right now. Okay, We're not playing.
Yeah.
We're not playing. But I want to go back.
Are you
and check
saying
it out.
that you wouldn't have gone down there with me when I went down?
Oh, I would have heck yeah gone down there.
I was hoping he would have let me that day, but I should have just texted him and asked him. But yeah,
Next time.
I've been down that basement. You know what I'm saying? We all know what happened to Crystal when she went down there. So.
That was creepy.
And I didn't provoke. When I was
Of course
down
not.
There.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys remember my YouTube video, it looked like splashes of blood had appeared on my face while we were investigating. And they think there were satanic rituals that happened in the basement. I believe it.
Great.
I do believe that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nope.
I believe it. And it's weird because you go, and the basement's not that big. It's not what you think it is. But
I'd be curious what I'd experience down there.
For your energy, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You repel dark stuff like really bad. It's weird when Kat's investigating, she repels all the dark stuff, like completely.
I'm like,
no, you run too.
I do sometimes.
You're Aaron Goodwin. Admit you're Aaron Goodwin.
To an extent, okay. I will stand in a room and investigate, but as soon as someone puts on like a horror costume or like a clown costume and chases me like Universal, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy and karate chop you.
Are you gonna ninja chop? Was that a ninja chop?
Yes, I'm going to ninja chop. I don't do that.
Yeah, the basement's pretty dark. I think it's pretty bad, honestly, in my opinion. I think he's afraid to let people down there because of how bad it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you keep going down the hallway, and then you hit his sort of weird library.
That was
mixed with the wall of shelves and more oddities, right? And he has miniature animal things that are like mini, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All kinds of weird stuff. He has a human skull.
Mm-hmm.
Named Norman. And Norman moves shit in that hallway all the time.
It's weird.
So, and that's his little dark library. But it's cool. It's cool how it's set up. And then you go into the hallway of Hollywood, Haunted Hollywood. So what was your favorite in that hallway?
I was really drawn to Michael Jackson's chair in that room.
It's very stained.
Yeah.
It looks like there's either blood or poo-poo soup on it.
There's something there. Yeah.
The way you said
I don't know which bodily fluid it is, but I don't know. I felt very drawn to it because I almost felt like he might have still be like lost if that makes sense.
Right.
I just felt like he was trying to get something out, or there was like an energy that was like communicate with me or talk to me, and I just couldn't get away from that section, that area.
Right. I like Liberace's piano.
Ooh, yes.
So he was really big in Las Vegas, and Liberace's piano is there. I don't think he's crossed over either. I think he just wants to continue performing. Like eternal performances, you know what I mean? I felt annoyance by Patrick Swayze's stuff.
That too.
Did you feel that too? Yeah, I feel like I also felt annoyance by not Mark Zuckerberg, Jesus, Steve Jobs.
Whoa, that was weird.
I know. If something happens to Zuckerberg, don't point your finger at me, okay? It was an accident. Steve Jobs, and Patrick Swayze, I feel annoyance.
Yeah.
That their stuff is there. I feel like that they're annoyed or not happy that their stuff is there. Who else is down that hallway? Can you think? There's a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't even know if I can remember.
There's a bunch of stuff. Those were just a few off the top of my head I could think of, though.
Me too. And then you go down another hallway. Sorry, I had a yawn. And this is where they have this sort of magic door that opens, and it takes you to the remainder of the museum. And they scare you. I don't know if I should tell people that. They're like, okay, go down this hallway and wait for us for the next section, and all of a sudden the door opens and everybody's like, ah, because like everybody's on edge. And then the door opens and everybody screams. And then you go into the room. This is where you have the entrance to Natalie Wood's room. You have the
was crazy.
You have the entrance to the Demon House room. You have the entrance to the TB. What is that called? Whatever it is, they would put TB patients in. And then
the lung.
First you go upstairs. Yeah, the iron lung. That's right. Mm-hmm. But first you go upstairs. Well, wait. The carnival thing happens first, right?
Yes.
So you walk in, and he has this huge collection of like a mini circus. It's really loud in there. It smells like popcorn because once again he wants your senses to keep going. Like he wants all of you involved. Like he wants you stepping into a different place. Mm-hmm. And then he has a lion head on the wall that apparently this lion, I don't know if it killed its trainer or ate its trainer's arm, some story like that.
It ate it.
Was that what it was? And then they had to put the lion down, so he has the lion head mounted on the wall. And, which is, I mean, I wouldn't want that, but it is beautiful to see how large a lion is. That's a big
Yeah.
And then you go into the freak show performance.
Let's chat about that. Shall we?
Should we?
Yeah, you're right. It's probably not worth it.
There's a guy there that's running the freak show. I don't even remember.
Brittany did it, I think.
No, it was Chanel.
Was it Chanel?
Yeah,
I thought it was Brittany.
She hammered the nail into his head. Yeah. So they have freak show performers, and the guy at the time, I haven't been there for a minute. The guy at the time is the one that I investigated with at Zach's other location, and found out that he was a quote Satanist, and he tried to scare me, and I was like, not impressed at all with his bragging rights. Once again, there's different types of Satanists, but like the first thing I'm gonna think is you're sacrificing animals, and I'm just gonna automatically hate you for it. So don't brag to me, because I just already hate you. Like literally, like not at all. But anyway, he does freak show performances, and he has these huge like 4 or 5 inch nails that he hands like a hammer to somebody in the audience, and they nail the nail into your skull, or his skull. And
through
Chanel
his nose or something, wasn't it?
Chanel did it. Chanel, I was looking at Chanel like, what? You can say no. Like, you don't.
Well, she was like smiling.
I know. Chanel was so dark. It was so creepy. Nobody knows how dark Chanel actually was. Shout out to Chanel. We still love her. Wish her luck.
Yeah.
But cats, when he said that, more tea coming out.
It's fine.
So then the nail comes out, and then they move you on to the next step, which is you go up the stairs, and it turns into a circus fun house. which I don't
Yeah.
quite get that part, I guess. It doesn't flow very easily. Do you think I think people, because there's fog going and flashing lights and things dropping down from the ceiling and popping out because it's like
It's random, and people are jumping out at you, and you know how I get. I will karate chop.
But it's
I
like
was not a
everyone's
fan.
so panicked they're not paying attention to what they're even looking at.
And yeah, and there was so much in that hallway, and it was like you're being rushed out or like being pushed out.
Or chased
And the
out.
way, and the way they set that up was somebody asked if anybody had a fear of clowns,
And they make
as
you go
if
first.
to and they make you go first, as if to tell you that like, okay, if you're afraid of clowns, you can step away, but no, they end up going first.
Right.
And
I'm
it's
sorry, you
just
don't
not,
have to go in first. You can say no.
You can say no. Yeah.
There's
But-
something called a boundary. Just everyone remember that nobody can make you do anything. And if you don't want to go first, you say hell no. You go first. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
So I don't know. People make me mad when they look like that one girl that was with us looked so in fear, and I was like,
looked
say
so
no
sad.
then. Don't go first. Like you can say no. Like Jesus, people, come on. Anyway,
Yeah.
light work
Yep.
101.
Boundaries.
Boundaries. I don't like clowns,
Yeah.
but they don't make me run. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what does make me run, Mothra.
Crystal, I can't.
I'm deathly afraid
Can you
of-
imagine a giant
No.
Mothra just running around the building?
If that happened, I would pass out. I would die. So, random
I
side
can't.
story. I'm deathly afraid of things that flutter. So that includes butterflies, moths, any nighttime bugs. Not really birds. Unless it flies at my head, then I'll scream. You know what I'm saying? It
Dead.
doesn't happen very often. But we were
Oh my
out in my
gosh.
backyard one night when she was here, and some bugs flew at me. And I got on the ground and army crawled away. Like literally.
Gosh.
So
I'm
I'm definitely afraid of things that flutter. So anyway, it's true, and you know it. Like when you
I
saw
know.
me do that, you were like, "She's crawling away."
Are you okay?
I don't know what it is. Everybody's got fears. Like I've known people that are afraid of cotton balls. It could be me. At least I have something that moves. You know what I
Really?
mean? Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's weird phobias
Wow.
out there.
I have
So-
a lot of questions now.
A lot of questions. Okay, so you go up to the fun house thing. Now you're going into the first room, which is Dybbuk.
Yes.
It's Dybbuk,
I
Peggy,
was-
and then Kansas City, right?
Yes. Yeah. And Dybbuk and Peggy, I believe, are optional.
Yes. Mhm.
Were those optional?
Yep.
But we went in. We're going in.
Dybbuk is really cool. Dybbuk room's
Very cool.
The way he set it up, it's actually got two segments. So you go in the first segment, which has like memorabilia from the movies,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go see the actual Dybbuk box. And that's probably the first spirit I've encountered in there that I can indefinitely say is not human. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
That whatever's in there, I feel it rushing around you constantly. Is that how you feel? Like there's just it's constantly, and it loves that room.
Yeah.
It's like Ed
I
Gein,
agree.
like it loves the room that was built for it.
Mhm.
But I can't tell you it feels like masculine or feminine because
Right.
it's an it. And I'm not talking alien per se. I think it's definitely probably demonic, probably dark.
It's a different type of dark.
Yeah,
It's definitely a different type. Like, it's one you can't really put your finger on, but it's very prominent.
it is. It's very heavy, but it's
Mhm.
almost like you do get this feeling like it's not going to lash out at you unless you like do something to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think it does like it to be like on display in front of everybody. So
Mhm.
the Dybbuk box is in this huge glass container. It's surrounded by sage and like I think is it holy salt? Isn't that what they have like
Mhm.
blessed salt around
Yep,
it?
that blessed salt. Mhm.
And over time, the sage started to rot. It started to turn black, and there's no reason for it because it's in a controlled temperature environment.
Mhm.
The only, especially in Las Vegas, like it's humid outside in the summers, but inside of a house, like you're gonna have a controlled environment. And so,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, and the other thing that really freaked me out was the tour guide was also showing us the hole in the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
as if something was trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
It was very creepy.
There were stabs.
And that was new.
Mm-hmm. And it was not like if you poked a hole through, like if you took like a pin and like pushed it through a wall. It was as if the pin was coming from the inside of the wall out.
Yeah.
It was really creepy. It was really creepy. And there was a few there and then a few on the outside of the door, remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was looking up there and I was like, oh my God, it's so creepy. And then apparently some woman had just blacked out too outside of the Dybbuk box room. But then around the salt too, so the sage is molding and they've had to replace it several times. But the salt is continuously being pushed around and moved. And like that can't happen because it takes, I think, 3 people to move the glass casing off of it, because it's a huge glass casing. Like, it's not small.
Right.
It wouldn't be something you'd want to just take off to move it. You know what I mean? And the drawers too will like push themselves outwards from the Dybbuk box.
Oof. Yeah, it was a hair open, like it was starting to open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's just not right.
Creepy.
Whatever's attached to that is. Which I was happy to take you guys in there just because I wanted you to recognize the difference in feeling different energies. Like, you know, like I said, you go in Kevorkian's room and it's, to me, very like peaceful and I don't want to say positive, but very calm and peaceful, versus Ed Gein, where like he's like jumps down like ready to attack sort of feeling. And then you go into Dybbuk box where it's like you feel somewhat like you're being hunted. Is that a good way to explain it?
Yeah.
Because it's going in a circle and it's not going to attack until you do something wrong.
Right. It almost like wants you to stay.
Yeah.
And that energy, that is what made me want to go and see the Annabelle doll.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a totally different energy than from the Dybbuk box.
Right.
Totally different. Still dark.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to explain, I guess, until you experience it.
You feel the energy.
Yeah.
The next room's Peggy. Everyone was laughing at me on your Instagram story last night because you were talking a little bit about Peggy. So Peggy is also optional. They claim that if you have heart problems, not to go see Peggy. My mother is stubborn as hell, and she's had heart problems, and she has gone in the room with Peggy. And she was fine, by the way. I didn't want her to go in. Believe me, I was pissed. I was like, Mom, stop. And she went anyway, but my mom doesn't give a shit. She's a stubborn Native American woman. Like, you know what I mean? Her. She has no F's.
I love her.
So anyway, she went in Peggy's room. Kat's been in Peggy's room. They have a spirit box on that's 24 hours a day. What's your opinion on Peggy?
She's feisty. Mm-hmm. She's sassy.
Yeah.
Very sassy. When you go in, they tell you to say hello and goodbye. And she like demands respect 24/7. And she kept over the spirit box, we kept hearing Dybbuk come through pretty frequently, so that was a pretty cool experience for sure. But
the lights
it just seemed a little
times,
much.
Didn't they?
What's that?
The lights went out a few times.
They did. They kept going out, and then there was, I think there was a red light inside of her case too, and that kept shutting off.
She talks a lot of shit.
So, yeah.
Yeah, she'll cuss you out. She'll be like, "You're a bitch."
She's sassy.
She'll literally, and you don't know who she's talking to, because like there's a handful of people in there.
You're like, which one?
She'll be like, "Bitch," or "bitch," or you'll say hi and she'll be like, "Bitch." Like she just talks shit the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't think she's human.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I don't think she's as bad as the Dybbuk box or Annabelle.
Mm-mm.
I guess there's got to be some sort of degrees variation. I don't know. It doesn't feel human to me. Peggy does make me feel a little nauseous and lightheaded when I'm in there, which is weird because the Dybbuk box room doesn't. The Dybbuk box room feels slow and heavy to me. And Peggy's room feels fast, nauseous, sort of lightheaded, buzzy. Not in a good way. So Nikita said, who would win in a fight, Peggy or Annabelle? I would hands down say Annabelle.
Annabelle would F her up. I'm just saying. Annabelle
Peggy,
would totally.
Even if Peggy's dark, her, whatever is in there, it's not. Is abusive a word? Like, you use the word abusive in the spirit realm, like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Dybbuk box would be. I feel like it would attack. You know what I mean? And like, Yeah, oh, okay, Pam says she throws F-bomb out. She does. She talks a lot of shit. That's the only way I can describe
Trash
Peggy.
talker.
She does. There's
Yeah.
cuss words coming out constantly. She just talks shit. I don't understand why. I don't know. Like, she just
It
hates
sounds like
everybody.
a teenager, you
It
know,
does,
who's like
yeah.
swearing every 2 seconds.
But I
and
think
you're
she
like, cool
likes
it.
to, like, cuss people out. Like, she enjoys cussing everybody out. Like, so
Well,
it's
she
very
gets
weird.
the shock value.
She's very
she gets the shock
powerful because
value.
the lights will flicker. There was one day, I think it was when we were in there, they couldn't get it back on. Remember? She'd shut the lights off and they couldn't get them back on.
Right.
So she's very, like, powerful. So that's why I think she's definitely not human. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe she would do something if provoked, but I just think she just enjoys being on display, is my opinion.
Yep.
Okay, the next
agree.
room was a room that made me probably the sickest, which is weird because this is a human room. But we went into a new exhibit at the time, which was the Kansas City Killer.
Oof.
What was his name again? Robert Bordella.
Yes.
How do I know all this information? Like, how does my brain have all of these paranormal things? Like, sometimes I'm like, do I remember? I don't know what's going on.
It comes with the job. You know what I'm saying?
I got to see the Robert Bordella stuff before it was on display. I was at the museum one day, and Zach was like, if you go down to the basement with me, I have this side room that has all of the Robert Bordella stuff stored in it. And he was like, I want you to see it. And I was like, who's Robert Bordella? Like, I just didn't know at the time, you know what I mean? Like, I've heard of the story, but I couldn't remember. And so as we're walking down the stairs, he's telling me about Robert Bordella. And so he was a guy that he murdered men, he was gay, and he hid it from his family. And so he would capture men and, like, rape them and tie them up. Some he would kill. Well, most he would kill. And then one of them basically did the whole, like, what is it called when you start to, like, identify with your captor? But he almost, like, was playing a game because he was trying to get Robert to trust him, and then eventually he made an escape. Robert trusted him so much, the kid made Robert feel like he was actually in love with him. And one day Robert went to work and the kid escaped, and that's how they found all of these people that he had murdered. And, like,
So bad.
like, brutal, forceful, like,
Really bad. Really bad.
I can't even say it
It's too bad.
here because it's so bad. Like, if you're interested in learning about it, Google Robert Bordella. There was a lot of forced sexual positions that would cause damaging, including using objects, and, you know, literally damaging to the point where blood was being involved, and, like, these people were clearly
Tortured.
just suffering, horrible suffering. Somehow Zach got a hold of one of the sheets that one of the kids was, like, raped and murdered on. I don't know how the hell he got that. It still has stains on it, which is just
really bad.
that.
Ugh,
The
makes me
sheet
sick.
alone, for some reason, I don't know how you felt by it. Just the sheet made me dizzy, like I was gonna pass out.
Yeah. Well,
And
because
I don't
it
know
still
if it was
had.
because I was empathing, like, the body fluids, because you can tell, like, however it happened it was sheer pain and torture.
Well, and there was, like, bleach involved too, so
And
clearly there was, like, confusion going on.
Drugging and, like, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I was feeling all of that, but when I was near the sheet, I felt like I was just gonna pass out. Like, I was nauseous and just dizzy.
Good.
And then he has, like, a bed set up sort of thing, with the sheet on it, and it looks like sort of the crime scene. And then on the wall, he has his court hearing replaying, and you see Robert Bordella talking about it. He ended up having a heart attack in prison, which I feel like is, I don't know.
Wow.
I'm just going to say this. Like, I feel so weird about this. I don't know how you guys feel about this. Oh, thank you for the follow, Jesse. There's people on this planet, and I'm talking humans, that do really horrible things. And sometimes it becomes poetic justice, such as Harvey Weinstein going to prison for raping all of these women, and he ends up getting coronavirus. Like, there's some poetic justice in that. Like, some people say, oh, you know, he just got sentenced to prison. If he dies that easily from coronavirus, it's easy. Yeah, but there's still some suffering there, folks. Like, he's gonna suffer. Or on
Right.
the other side, he goes to prison forever and rots in jail, and he has heart issues and has a heart attack. Either way, it's poetic justice for what they did. And I feel like, you know, Robert Burdella is another one of those. Like, yes, he was sentenced to prison for all these murders, but he ended up having a heart attack in prison and died. So some people say, oh, he got the easy way out and died. But then you still look at it, and it's still poetic justice. At some point, whatever maker is up there, whatever you believe, says, okay, boo, you've done enough harm. We're taking you home now. You're done. Here's your heart attack. You know what I mean? Like, there's still poetic justice involved when these horrible things happen. Oh my God, Joe Exotic. Hi, Sierra. I can't. I literally can't talk about Joe Exotic.
I haven't even finished it yet. I know. Okay. I watched Tiger King. I don't want to rant too bad on this, but I couldn't watch it visibly. I could only listen. Does that make sense? Because it was so messed up.
There's so much dysfunctionalism, and like, you think Honey Boo Boo's bad, this takes it to a whole new level. And I literally found myself not being able to sit there and like like watch it, because I was like, as an empath, I'm like, this is such a messed up situation. So anyway, I've seen it. It's just really dysfunctional. But yes, you're right. Joe Exotic too. He's in prison. You know, he tried to hire someone to murder the woman, right? And now he's in prison. And somebody said Susan Atkins, who died from cancer after being involved with the Sharon Tate stuff. Yeah, think about poetic justice, even in your own life. Okay, haven't you had some weird things happen? Like, and I'm not saying everybody that gets cancer is a bad person, clearly, so don't take the message incorrectly. But for example, I had a boyfriend in my early 20s named Grant, and we were together for like 2 years. He was the first person I lived with, like I moved out with. Yeah. And when we were dating, his stepmother was Puerto Rican. She had beautiful long black hair, and the first day I went over to meet his family after we'd been dating, because you're adults in your 20s, you know what I mean? She told me I was banned from their house because she didn't trust blonde white girls. So I was never allowed to go back into her house because she was racist against me. And then 6 months later, she got cancer and lost all of her hair. There's weird poetic justice things that go around if you pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I wished that on her. Like, clearly, like, someone with cancer is, like, terrifying. But she wasn't just that way to me. She was horrible to everybody. Like, she was just an evil person. And I just feel like sometimes when you put that much evilness into the world, the universe is going to say, boo, you need some sort of a lesson to, like, look inward and, like, appreciate life and yourself and things around you more. And, like, this is your lesson. You know, like, I had a family member, too, she's an older, like, great aunt who would constantly start trouble in our family. Constantly. And she has been fighting cancer for, like, 20 years. And she's always just causing headache. She's called the police on people. She's gotten family members arrested for no reason. She's one of those, like, a trouble causer. And she's literally had cancer for, like, 20 years, and she's still not healed from it. So, and I'm not saying everyone with cancer is poetic justice. I'm just saying it's interesting how the universe divvies out these weird lessons to people when they've been shitty. And Robert Burdella is another example of it. His journal made me sick. Did you see the journal? Did you read any of it?
Yeah, bits and pieces of it. I wasn't feeling really too good.
You walked out of there, man. You were like, I'm out, I'm done.
I was out. Yeah.
Kat was like, I don't care. I can't be in here. I'm effing leaving. She literally left all of us.
I was like the first one out.
And Brittany went after you. And then of course, you know, Chanel's the dark witch and I'm the gray witch. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can't help that I have a curiosity for some dark stuff. I just can't help. It's just who I am. And so Chanel and I stayed alone in the room for a minute, to the point where you guys were gone. The tour guide was gone. But I remember saying, like, I haven't seen all this stuff yet, and if Zach yells at me for being in here, whatever, let him be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we stayed behind, and we were reading some of the journal where he had really specific detail of how he murdered and raped these guys, and it was, like, so horrible. It was horrible. So we left. Chanel went out before me, and then I went out after her, and I went to... No one was in there. It was just Chanel and I, and literally nobody's around. It was just us. And I closed the door, and all of a sudden it was like somebody grabbed the door handle from the other side and like ripped the door open, like they didn't want us to go. Well, naturally in my head, I'm thinking, oh shit, I locked somebody in there. You know what I mean? Like I accidentally closed the door. So I literally opened the door, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't mean to lock you out. And nobody was there.
Wow.
And then Chanel's like, well, I was like, Chanel, there's a ghost in here. She's like, well, yeah, Crystal, like, where are you? And I was like, just open the door.
God.
And so she came back over, and we tried to do it again, and it didn't do it. So anyway, that was creepy.
Wow.
And so then from there, you go downstairs, and you go into, what's the first room? Oh, the Iron Lung.
Mm-hmm.
He has oddities as far as, like, hands that are in, what do you call that? Solution that, like, keep them whole. Formaldehyde.
Yep.
He has like
and
an ear
jars
and
and
a
stuff.
finger, and he has like all kinds of weird, gross human parts in there. And it's sort of set up like a medical office, which is kind of cool. The Iron Lung is in there. And then, wait, what do you think of that room? Did you like that? I mean, it's a cool room. I don't really feel
it goes by
anything
pretty
in there.
quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel much in there.
No.
You had a fascination with Natalie Wood's room.
I had an experience in there that really freaked me out. We were in there, and Crystal was standing behind me, and my hair got pulled.
You yelled at me. You thought I did it.
I did. I thought you pulled my hair.
She was really
and I
pissed.
turned
She
around
was like,
and I
Crystal, why'd you pull my hair?
Because it was hard. Like, it was a hard pull. And it's really funny because going forward to now, I watched a Natalie Wood documentary, and she came to me in like a dream, and I had like really weird things happening in the dream. So I have really weird connection to like water and drowning, and then I ended up figuring out some like possible past life stuff that also resonated with that, like way back in the day.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe that's why I had that experience or what, but I'm just saying I don't think it was her. I think she. I think that's what that hair pull was.
Your audio cut out right when you said that, so that creeped me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when that happened, and then now fast forward to now, when she came to me in a dream, I think she was murdered.
Oh yeah.
I think she was murdered.
Yeah.
And I think that her pulling my hair was what happened. Something happened like that.
I think she was murdered.
So where the hair was pulled and she was drowned.
Thrown in the water. Yeah, I think she was murdered for sure. So I don't like that room because I empath it. It looks like a yacht. It's been set up to look like a yacht.
It feels like one too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks like a really fancy yacht because she died off of a boat / yacht. He has the candles that were in there, the actual candles themselves, and sort of like the candelabra things that they had. There's magazines from her that were on the ship that night when she, somehow was found a mile thrown overboard. Her husband was on the boat along with, what's that other famous actor that was with her?
So Walken? Was it Christopher Walken?
Yeah, Christopher Walken. Mm-hmm. And apparently she was having an affair with Christopher Walken, which is why they think her husband is the one that threw her overboard. I had heard that they were going to reopen the case, or they did.
I think it was Walken.
I don't think it was Walken. I think it was her husband.
Really?
I think her husband was upset because she was cheating and knew that she was cheating. Because Christopher Walken always is and has been a huge actor. And he was very, very much in love with her. He was very much in love with her. I do think Christopher Walken knew he did it. But I think that he was afraid that he'd be involved in, like, accessory to murder, and that's why they never said anything, is what I think happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I have this feeling it was Walken. Especially watching interviews and stuff, he showed zero remorse that she was even gone, and they worked closely together on that movie. Yeah, on a movie they were doing. But
yeah, they supposedly fell in love. So Robert Wagner, yes, that was her husband, Robert Wagner.
Crazy.
Well, this is what I had heard, that they had reopened the case somewhere. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Or they were going to. So anyway, there were like some sort of detail or like new evidence they found. So I'm not sure.
That's crazy.
I don't like that room because I first of all, I'm not a water person. We know this, Crystal. Okay, Crystal has a fear of water. Crystal has never been on a boat. Crystal will never be on a boat, okay? Unless we're filming. Not about that boat. I will have 4 floaties all over my body just to make sure. And I will have a backpack on with a floatable canoe that I can blow up really quick in the ocean, okay? Like, literally.
She's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a water person. I think I drowned in a past life as part of the issue. So when I go in that room, it feels like you're on a boat to me. And how would I know that? Because I've never been on a boat. You know what I'm saying?
Crystal, I can't.
Next room is Demon House.
Yes.
So how do you feel about the Demon House?
I was kind of creeped out because I almost didn't want to leave.
You got like trancy in there.
I got wicked. Chanel and I both did. And I couldn't stop staring at the stairs from the basement.
Yep.
And that really scared me because I'm not like that.
Right.
It's real. It is real. Don't mess with that. Holy wow. That was probably the craziest energy I've ever felt to date so far.
What do you think it was that was making you trancy?
Honestly, something dark. I would even say demonic. Honestly, it was not. There was something wrong. Something did not feel right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super dark.
It felt like, and when you were leaving, you were walking in slow-mo. It felt like you would never get to the door.
So
it's weird.
You stayed in there the longest with Chanel. I had already walked out because once again, I just don't like to take away from other people because I've seen it all a lot. And Chanel came out, closed the door, and then walked up to me and turned around and went to walk back to the Demon House room. And she was gonna go back in there, and we were both like, "You're like, Chanel, what are you doing?" And like she was just dark, you know, like attracts like. She's into the dark stuff, and she was gonna go right back into that room.
Well, what triggered it was she went to go and shut the door, and the door reopened and slammed shut.
Right.
It was loud. Like, you could hear that door slam, and then she walked back. She wanted to go back in, and I'm like, we're like, no, don't do it. It's a trap. You get stuck in the basement. We're not playing with that. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was very intense.
Yeah, Demon House is intense. I mean, even if you're comparing that to Dybbuk Box, how do we compare the two? So I said Dybbuk Box room is very heavy, and it feels like you're being hunted. Because, like, honest to God,
it's
you're
less
behind
restrictive.
2 doors, and there's just, you feel this energy just moving around you. And I'm not talking air conditioning. I'm talking like an energy move. Like, it feels like it's watching to see who's going to mess with it first. Demon House is still, which maybe that's what makes it more creepy, right?
Yeah, it's still and warm,
heavy,
and inviting.
Humidity.
Like it wants you to stay.
I hate the word moist, but I'm going to use it for this purpose.
Ooh, I hate that word.
We're such girls. Don't use the word moist.
We really are. Don't say moist. It's gross. Yeah, the Dybbuk Box room, the best way I could describe it is you could definitely feel a dark presence there, but it felt as if something was trying to play. And it felt less restrictive. Whereas when you walk into the Demon House room, it's literally like you're walking into a completely different like universe. And like energy field, totally. And you walk in and it's warm in there. It does feel moist.
Stale and moist.
The air feels moist. And it was just...
What's wrong with us, Kat? Oh my God.
Everything. It's quarantine, okay? It's quarantine 2020. We're losing our minds.
What am I, but day 30? I don't know how I'm still functioning, Jesus.
But it was really strange because that room, I kept thinking about that room often. And I would definitely go back in that room, totally.
But which is interesting because you watched the documentary, you've seen it a couple of times, and you can't stand it.
I pace really bad. I don't like it. It messes with me really bad. I feel sick, not like nauseous, dizzy. And it's not just like the anticipation of the Demon House, whatever, because the documentary is really well shot. Like it's supposed to have a creepy aesthetic to it. I get it. But the energy off of that, like I remember we tried to watch it again at your place and I was pacing the whole time.
We would pause, literally, this is what would happen. I'd put it on, and Kat's already seen it. Like, it's not like there's any surprises.
No.
And she would be like, we have to pause it. I just need to get up and burn some energy. She'd just,
I need a minute.
We would pause it, and she'd get up and start walking, and then she'd sit down. It literally took like 3 hours to watch the movie.
It did. There was something wrong.
Yeah. You must empath off of that really, really bad. So.
I don't know, but it wanted me in there, and I was like, no. I was trying to fight, but it was creepy, and I'm not playing. Yeah. I ain't playing. I would not have left that room. I would not have left that room.
I
That
was
scares
in
me.
that room, I think as it was being built, I was in there. So before it became what it was. And I think I told Zach that, because he always, like, wants, like, he knows how sensitive I am. Like him, like, very sensitive to energy.
Mm-hmm.
So he always wants me to give, like, adjectives, like, when I walk in a certain area, or, like, he gets something new. So I remember telling him, and this is going to sound weird, but, like, being around the dirt and, like, the artifacts that he had dug up from the demon house, and, like, there's wood in there from the demon house, the stairs. I told him that it was the closest feeling to hell that I'd ever felt.
Wow.
And I don't, and that's a big expression for
And
me
it's
to
moist.
say. What did you say?
And it's moist.
And it's moist. Stop. I hate that word. It makes me cringe. I'm like,
Same, I can't stop now.
Get the chills when people say that word. But yeah, and I don't, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. I'm sorry. I have always said this on YouTube, and I'll continue to say it. People are always like, oh, Crystal, like, you know, I try not to get in super religious discussions, even though, you know, talking about paranormal is a religious discussion in itself, because you're saying you believe there's afterlife. But, like, there's a difference between heaven and hell. And so a lot of people will say, you know, what's your opinion on heaven and hell? And I've always said this, and Kat kind of agrees. Like, what could be worse than what happens here on this planet? I'm not saying we're in hell, but everything that's a nightmare in hell can happen here, and has happened, because people torture other people torture animals, they torture each other. We burn forests down, you know, like, that is hell. Like, everything's fire is hell. So for me to say something like a statement like, this is the closest to hell I've ever felt, and I know that I remember telling him, like, the only adjectives I could, like, describe it was, like, spicy, and I don't mean, like, food wise. It just feels like if you touch the soil, it's going to burn you.
Spicy.
You know what I mean? Like, it feels like it will zap you, like a spicy zap. Like, I don't know if you've ever, like, put your hand, like, on, like, wasabi, or, like, super, like, ghost peppers. Like, if you've ever touched, like, really horrible peppers, like, it burns you. That's how I meant spicy in a sense of, like, it feels like breathing that air in will, like, burn you. I know that sounds weird. So
no, like ashy.
Ashy, yeah.
It
well,
does
hell.
kind of
it
smell
literally
ashy.
feels like hell in there to me.
It
like,
does.
it's very
There's-
dense, and
There's a mannequin in there too, and I think it's taken over the mannequin.
I agree it has.
I know it
100.
sounds really weird, but I think it's literally like embodying that item.
No, they have a
right now.
mannequin that's in the back corner that's on the stairs. They've basically made it out with horns, sort of like the demon house, and it sits in the back corner. I agree, 100%. It embodies that mannequin. It loves that mannequin because it doesn't even have to manifest now. It already has a physical presence. And it has the horns and everything. And so...
Yeah. I remember the tour guide wouldn't even go in.
No.
She refused to go in. She had way too many bad experiences in
Oh,
there,
the
and she's
inmate
like...
room. Laura, God, thank you. I knew I forgot something. Remember the inmate room?
Oh, yes.
With Charles Manson ashes. I forgot about that room. Totally spaced out. I think I forgot that room because I don't feel a lot in there. I did feel like I wanted to throw up when I was by Charles Manson's ashes.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
I don't know how I feel about Zach owning his ashes because I just think he was like a sick, perverted person.
Yeah.
They have like the clown in there too. That's like the clown killer. He'd go to little boys' birthday parties and abduct little boys.
Weird. And the Santa Claus, was it like the Santa Claus?
The same thing. Yep, they have Ramirez stuff in there. Ramirez does freak me out. He's just dark. Like, as dark as Ed Gein is, I still feel like you can't get any darker than Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
So he was the one that was in the Cecil Hotel and he was killing people. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me look him up. Richard Ramirez. Mainly because I want to show his picture, because he's just... I swear he was like a demon in a human body. I mean, that face is just not human. It's just not human.
Yeah.
So, there's stuff with Richard Ramirez where I'm just like, that's not, it's dark. But I don't have a lot of feelings in there other than Charles Manson's ashes made me sick. How'd you feel in there?
Yeah, I didn't really have any feelings either, other than it just being really creeped out that the ashes were there. It's just freaky. It's just freaky. I'm curious to see what's there now, though. I'm looking forward to going back to the museum and feeling it out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna have to go when you come in town and we're not on quarantine lockdown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hopefully
It's gonna
sooner
be
rather
fine.
than later.
It's gonna be fine. Well, I'm telling you, he did extensions on it, so I have video footage of me driving around Vegas because Vegas is on lockdown. Now that I'm not having surgery, I can edit. Yay! I'm so excited.
Yay!
But yeah, when I did that, I was driving by the museum and saw he's adding some massive extensions onto the museum, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So anyways, who do you think is the demons of the museum? Because this word gets thrown around a lot. So let's be realistic on reading energy, not what people have said. Who do you
Like
think
who,
are like the
who
rooms
runs
that are
it?
demons?
Like the run?
Well, I think
like who
Charles
runs it?
Manson's running it right now.
I think it's a cluster right now. I think it's a cluster F right now. I think they are competing.
See,
And that's
I
why
think
there's
that
so much.
I have this, and Zach had even said it too, but I felt it. Zach says that he thinks there was like a debacle over who was in charge, and that everything
that's what it
changed
feels
when
like.
Manson came in, because he is a cult leader. So I think Manson's running the museum.
I would agree with that. Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he has the quote demons respecting him. You know what I mean?
No. You know what's really strange though is when I imagine like the demon house room, I think that he is his own unit. He can give two craps about anybody else.
I actually feel the same about the Divic box. I feel the same.
Yeah, that
now,
too.
Peggy,
They're comfortable.
I feel like would follow Manson because she's not as dark as the others. But I think Demon House and Divic are doing their own thing. They don't give a shit about the rest of the museum.
No. They like their rooms.
Yep. I do think
they're
Ed Gein's
comfortable in
probably
there.
a follower. He probably definitely needs someone to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Charles Manson's perfect. Yeah, he I don't know the story on the Manson ashes. I've read it, and I'm going to be honest, I was not really thrilled when I heard he bought the Manson ashes, or got the Manson ashes. He made friends with Manson's grandson, I think, and then when his grandson announced that he died in prison, they had him cremated, and then he gave a portion of the ashes to Zach. Now, clearly, there was probably money involved. Let's be real here. And then what Zach did was he sent Manson's ashes to a ash artist. Yes, those exist. And normally, obviously, for normal people, it would be like somehow like memoranding your mother or your grandmother or whatever way and like displaying them. But he sent his ashes to an ash artist who recreated a portrait, like the guy drew a portrait and painted a portrait of Manson, and he embedded the ashes in the paint that now make up a face painting of his ashes. He also has Manson's teeth because he had dentures. I can't remember.
It's messed
what else.
up.
There was a few things. Oh, he also has, Manson would do like these little sculptures while he was in prison. He has some sculptures. I don't remember if he has his inmate outfit or not. I think he has something else, maybe his shoes or something. So he has that on display in the inmate area, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the reading that I get, I feel like I just tranced out. Sorry, I literally like just tranced out, like stared off to the side.
That was weird because before you said that, your audio was cutting in and out
Really?
like crazy
I
on my
literally
end.
was like, why are you like looking off to the side? Like, what are you doing? Crystal, hello. I was like, I don't know. Like totally like lost my train of thought for a second. But the vibe I get with Manson, okay. I think people gave him more credit. People are like, oh, Manson's this scary cult leader, da 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 da. You only give a scary cult leader power if you give them power.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he's a weak ass, and I think that's why our energy collided, because I kind of like was around, and I definitely do not think he crossed over 100%.
No.
He does not want to meet his maker. He does not want to know what's on the other side. He has absolutely no, because he thinks he's done so much bad, he doesn't want to know what's waiting for him. So he's absolutely like thrilled to be in Zach's museum because he's found an eternal place for himself, right?
True.
But like his energy I got from Manson is just, he is a weak ass.
Yeah.
And people gave him too much power, and he's not really who he thinks he is. He's just someone that's probably really, really mentally ill and has a lot of issues, and people gave him a bigger name than what he was, and then that gives him power, right? Like, it's like you feed off of it. So
Right.
I didn't like his energy because I just saw right through him, like what he is. He's not as scary as he presented himself as. He just was able to control and manipulate people.
Yeah.
What else? That's about it.
I think
Any
that's
other
it.
paranormal experiences you had in there?
No, it was mainly Natalie Woodroom is an experience I had there, and then the demon house room like crept me out really bad.
Did you get a reading from the psychic?
The psychic. Was she there?
The tarot reader? Did you get a reading from her?
No.
Somebody did. Maybe it was Brittany or Chanel. Maybe it was Chanel.
Oh, it was Brittany. I
Was
think
it?
it was Brittany because
Okay.
she went there before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's legit. I don't know if she's still there. But
We should try to find her.
someone said, I wonder if his spirit travels with visitors. Oh, I'm sure. What do you think are the spirits that go home with people the most?
Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Peggy. Peggy effed you up. You had to get stitches.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
I don't know what I did to her, though.
What's that?
I don't know what I did to her, though.
I don't know. She just didn't like you for some reason.
Yeah, I got cut
I don't know
in Peggy's
why.
room. I had like 3 gashes in my arm, and I had to get stitches from Peggy's room.
Yeah, it was bad. I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
I think the other that would probably be someone to follow home is the Kansas City Killer.
Yes. Okay, that's a good one. Yes.
Which I think that's like the hunting game, like the Ed Gein has too. Once again, I don't think the Dybbuk box would follow you home. I don't think the Demon House would follow home because they really like where they're at. Like what he's created for the Dybbuk and for the Demon House, like they are just so happy with their rooms. They have no reason to leave.
Right.
It's weird. I heard movement on this side of me, so I'm gonna take my earphones out. So
You heard what?
movement over here.
Oh, nope.
And that's the direction
Nope.
I trans in, so better not be any hoes come. Oh, and then the dog just started
Ooh,
barking.
and the dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cat, your face turned red, Cat. Oh my god, I'm dead.
It's
So-
fine, you know?
Yeah.
Be fine.
So what we think we want to do next, I mean, do you want to stream with me on here, like maybe daily or something? Or is that too much for
Let's
you?
do it. No,
'Cause,
let's
I mean,
do
what
it.
else are we doing? Literally.
What else are we doing?
We wanted to talk
nothing.
about an astrology chat too. We wanted to talk an astrology chat. So maybe if you guys are
Yeah.
interested in that, we were going to pull our natal chart reports. I think people will laugh at me because mine's so accurate. They're going to be like, because like people that have followed me forever, they know me now. You know what I mean? They're going
Yeah.
to hear me talk about my natal chart and they're gonna be like, that's a little creepy, Crystal. It's a little awkwardly creepy. And then we definitely can do some booze and reviews now that I'm back, and I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna get some videos up. No surgery, holler.
Yay!
No surgery.
So good. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, and then you're doing. Where are your ghosties? Can we see some ghosties?
Oh yeah, the crochet ones. I
Yeah.
was like, where? I was like, there's one on the inside.
Your
Oh my
crocheted ghost, Cat, not the
My
real one.
crocheted ghosts. Here's a pink one
Aren't those cute?
and a blue one
Aren't they cute?
and an orange one.
Oh my god, Cat's
Aren't they
selling
so
little
adorable?
knitted ghost guys on her website. What is it? Magicloops.com?
Yeah, magicloops.com. And they're adorable.
M-A-G-I-C-K loops.
MAGICK loops, yep.com. I'm gonna be doing like a bunch of different colors and stuff and sizes, so you know, they're just adorable.
And you've
I
already
love
sold
them.
a bunch, and we're thinking about doing a giveaway for a couple.
Yes, yeah, I'm working on a big one.
We're gonna
So.
do a giveaway.
They're just so cute. You should check them out. You know.
so cute.
Adorable.
Okay, well that's all I have to say, guys. Hopefully everyone's surviving quarantine
I know.
the best we can.
I know.
I don't know how else do you put it. Like, it is what it is.
Yep. Just go with the flow. Rest if you need to. Poor
Drink
puppies.
water. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Don't touch your face. We have the list.
Don't do the thing.
Just don't get corona, people. Okay, like
Don't get the Rona, please. Stay home.
Don't get la rona. It's bad for you. It's bad for your health.
But
So
no,
yeah,
really
we'll try to stream tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Saturday. Are you cool with Saturday?
Yeah, I'm
You are?
down.
Okay, so we'll do stream tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about astrology. My natal chart report is.
Yes.
I'm a Taurus, but my sun is in. What is my sun in? I don't even know what my sun's in.
Literally everything of mine is in Aries.
I have a lot in Aries. I'm really bad. My sun's in Taurus.
Oh, hey.
And
My
then
moon's in Libra, which I recently discovered.
my
I thought it was
moon
a Virgo,
is
but it's not.
Aquarius, which is interesting. My Mercury which is communication, is Aries. That's really bad.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then my Venus, which is love, is in Aries. That makes me very fiery with love. What else am I in Aries here? My Lilith, is in Aries too. Geez, I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess.
Hey.
God, thank you guys so much for being on. Kat, have you thought about making a crocheted mask for outside? That's a cute idea.
Yeah. The only thing is you need fabric to put on the inside because there's so many holes in crochet.
Yeah.
I don't have that, unfortunately, but I could probably go find some.
That's
I think
cute.
that'd be a good idea.
Or order
Gotta
it
sew.
online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracy's a Taurus. Holler. I love my fellow Tauruses.
Hey.
Okay, guys, so come on tomorrow and we'll chat about astrology. It'll be fun because you guys are going to laugh when you hear my...
That's going to be fun.
Oh, my God. When they hear my astrology chart, they're going to be like, wow, Crystal.
It's pretty
It's a little
honestly.
accurate. That's all I'm going to say.
Pretty awesome.
Like, literally, my sun is in Taurus. It says, this represents vitality, a sense of individuality. This is a very outward, outshining, creative person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I'm definitely not an introvert, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't know how you could tell that. Could you tell I was not an introvert?
I don't know. You know?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So tune in tomorrow, twitch.tv/The Ghost Girl Diaries. I will upload this as a podcast. We have thousands of views on our podcast. Shout out to everybody that's downloaded it. We love you. I have some old podcasts from a few weeks ago that I do need to get uploaded, that I will get uploaded. So search Ghost Girl Diaries on Spotify. I almost said Shopify. Spotify, and search it on iTunes. You can find us there. And now I'm going to do our little outro with Kat's song for Ghost Girl Diaries. It's specifically written for us, which is by Elms Landing, called Black Roses. You can also find that on Spotify and iTunes. Shout out to Kat for doing that for us. Tune in tomorrow. Watch us on social media. I'll let you guys know when we go live. It's kind of going to be on a whim since we're on quarantine. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to go with the flow.
Yep.
And follow us on social media. As always, we will catch you guys